Welcome back to Klepper's Corner. Today in History, the show where we look deep into the past to understand the present, and occasionally to confirm that humanity has always been a dumpster fire. We've just upgraded the dumpster. Today is December 2nd, a date so overloaded with empires, explosions, geopolitics, corporate crime, and cosmic-level oopsies that it should really come with a seatbelt. Somehow, this single day manages to include Napoleon reinventing monarchy, James Monroe reinventing hemispheric boundaries, John Brown reinventing martyrdom, Enrico Fermi reinventing the periodic table as a light bulb, and Enron reinventing fraud as a lifestyle choice. This is the December 2nd starter pack. Buckle up. Segment 1, the Napoleonic solstice. Crown me, maybe. Some people pick their wedding day based on numerology. Napoleon picked December 2nd the way a Marvel villain picks a laser beam death ray, with careful intention and dramatic flair. On December 2nd, 1804, he marched into Notre Dame and crowned himself emperor. And yes, he literally crowned himself. The Pope was right there, like an unpaid intern forced to attend a 14-hour company meeting. And Napoleon just grabbed the crown like, "I'll take it from here, Padre." The French Revolution had tried abolishing monarchy, and Napoleon replied, "Cute idea. What if instead we do monarchy, but with more paperwork and better branding?" He even resurrected Carolingian symbolism. Not the Bourbons, not the Valois, because nothing screams new dynasty like rummaging through the clearance bin of medieval cosplay. But he wasn't done. 1 year later, also December 2nd, Napoleon celebrates his coronation anniversary by winning the Battle of Austerlitz. A battle so impressive that military historians still talk about it like it was a season finale. This is the episode where Napoleon says, "You know what would be fun? Pretending we're weak, giving up the high ground, luring 90,000 Allied troops into a trap, and then ambushing them with the sun of Austerlitz, like we ordered an eclipse on Etsy." He split the Allied army in half, shattered the Holy Roman Empire, and redefined the geopolitical order. You know how actors brag about winning an Oscar and a Grammy back-to-back? Napoleon won Emperor and Greatest Battlefield Flex of the 19th century in the same week. And because the Bonapartes adore family traditions, Louis Napoleon pulled a December 2nd doubleheader in the 1850s. First a coup, then an empire. December 2nd is basically the Bonaparte version of Christmas, except instead of gifts, you get authoritarianism. Segment 2, the Monroe Doctrine, when America invented stay off my lawn diplomacy. Jump across the Atlantic. December 2nd, 1823. James Monroe stands before Congress and unveils the Monroe Doctrine, which is basically the foreign policy equivalent of a no trespassing sign duct taped to the Western Hemisphere. Europe had been eyeing Latin America like a clearance sale, and Monroe says, "Nope, this house is full. Go meddle somewhere else." The best part is that the United States had roughly the naval power of a large canoe at this point. The only reason the doctrine worked was because the British Navy quietly backed it. So the Monroe Doctrine was really, Europe shall not colonize the Americas, unless Britain says so, because they have the boats. John Quincy Adams helped craft it, insisting America should act independently and not as Britain's cockboat in the wake of the man of war, which is the 1823 diplomatic version of, "I'm not riding in your sidecar, George." Long term, it becomes the cornerstone of U.S. hemispheric dominance, protection, intervention, and occasionally, we swear this banana company thing is totally normal foreign policy. December 2nd, the day America claimed the neighborhood. Segment 3, John Brown, the execution that lit the fuse. December 2nd, 1859. John Brown, abolitionist, zealot, visionary, murderer, martyr, pick your label, is hanged in Virginia. This is one of those moments where the country split like a fault line and never truly sealed back up. Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry was supposed to spark a nationwide liberation movement. Instead, it sparked Robert E. Lee shows up and arrests everyone before lunch. Brown goes to trial, gets convicted, and is executed under heavy guard. Because Southern leaders were terrified Northerners might try to rescue him using, abolitionist ninjas. Meanwhile, transcendentalists in the North treat Brown like a saint. Emerson says Brown's legacy will make the gallows as glorious as the cross. That is not subtle. That is, let's crank the Messiah metaphor to 11. And just to make the moment even more historically unsettling, 2 future Confederate legends and 1 future presidential assassin watched Brown's execution. That's right, Stonewall Jackson and John Wilkes Booth were in the audience. The Civil War wasn't just coming. It had bought a ticket and found its seat. December 2nd, the day America realized we're absolutely going to fight about this. Segment 4, Chicago Pile 1. Humanity turns the atom on and immediately regrets understanding science. December 2nd, 1942. Under the bleachers of Stagg Field at the University of Chicago, a place where you'd expect to find a row badminton team, not the dawn of the nuclear age, Enrico Fermi engineers the first controlled nuclear chain reaction. This reactor was a giant stack of graphite blocks, uranium pellets, and what appears to be hope. No shielding, no cooling system, no guarantee that the scientists wouldn't glow in the dark after. The safety system? 3 grad students with buckets, ready to dump cadmium if things went sideways. The fact that this was called the Suicide Squad should tell you everything about the workplace culture. But it worked. At 3:25 p.m., they hit criticality, generating about half a watt of power, the nuclear equivalent of 1 sad Christmas light. But that was enough. Enough to prove the concept, enough to greenlight Hanford, enough to create a chain of events that ends in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the Cold War, Chernobyl, mushroom cloud t-shirts, and an entire genre of "we shouldn't have done that" documentaries. December 2nd, the day humanity learned atoms are powerful and also, oh no. Segment 5, Cold War lines redrawn by McCarthy and Castro. 2 very different December 2nd moments. 1954, Joseph McCarthy gets censured by the Senate. After years of yelling "communists" at anyone within 6 feet of a microphone, McCarthy finally pushed too far during the Army McCarthy hearings. When the Senate censures you for dishonor and disrepute, that's Congress saying, "Buddy, the bar was low, and you limbo danced under it." Then 1961. Fidel Castro goes on TV and says, "I am a Marxist-Leninist and will be until the last days of my life." This is the geopolitical equivalent of making 161 your Facebook relationship status committed to the USSR. He chose the date because it was the anniversary of the Grandma landing, tying Marxism directly to Cuba's revolutionary mythos. December 2nd, 1 man falls, another regime rises. Segment 6, UAE, a federation built before the ink dried. December 2nd, 1971, the United Arab Emirates is born. Britain announces in 1968 that it's pulling out of the Persian Gulf, basically saying, "Good luck, everyone." 6 emirates rush to unite. Bahrain and Qatar say, "We're good." Ras Al Khaimah holds out until February, partially because Iran seizes the Tums Islands 2 days before the union. The UAE becomes the rare, successful federation where all members maintain real autonomy while still acting as one state. Imagine if American states kept their own oil rights. Actually, don't. Louisiana would build a throne. December 2nd, a regional map gets redrawn with surprising durability. Segment 7, the first artificial heart. Technology says, we can do this. Ethics says, should we? December 2nd, 1982. Barney Clark receives the first permanent artificial heart, the Jarvik 7. A polyurethane and aluminum device powered by a 400-pound external air compressor, which is one way to ensure nobody ever runs off to join Cirque du Soleil. Clark lives 112 days, with complications that sound like a medical bingo card. The experiment proves a device can sustain life, but also that sustaining life and living life are very different categories. Modern medicine still cites Clark when drawing ethical lines around experimental treatment. December 2nd, The day we replaced a heart with a machine and realized the human part matters more. Segment 8. Enron. Capitalism takes the mask all the way off. December 2nd, 2001. Enron files for bankruptcy, creating a crater in the American economy and proving once and for all that if you combine arrogance, deregulation, and accounting sorcery, you get a financial Chernobyl. Mark-to-market accounting let Enron record imaginary profits. CFO Andrew Fastow built a labyrinth of shell companies with names that sounded like rejected Pokemon. Raptor, LJM, Chew You Up and Spit You Out Mon. Stock collapses from $90 to 26 cents. Employees lose everything. Arthur Anderson dies. Congress panics and invents Sarbanes-Oxley. December 2nd, the day the free market got a timeout. Segment 9, NASA. One shuttle nearly burns, another saves Hubble. December 2 hits NASA twice. 1988, STS-27. Atlantis launches on a classified DoD mission. Debris slams into the orbiter, shredding tiles. Ground control looks at the encrypted images and says, "Looks fine." It was not fine. Atlantis comes home with catastrophic damage, saved only because the missing tile happened to be above a steel antenna plate. Translation: spaceflight survived because of sheer dumb luck and good metal. Then, 1993, STS-61. Endeavour launches to repair Hubble. 5 EVAs. Astronauts effectively give the telescope glasses. Suddenly, Hubble stops sending blurry photos and starts showing the universe like it was shot by Stanley Kubrick with a budget. December 2nd, one spacecraft almost dies. Another becomes a hero. Segment 10, Bhopal. The night industry forgot to care. Late night, December 2nd, 1984. The worst industrial disaster in history begins. Union Carbide's MIC tank overheats. Every safety system is offline, or we unplugged it to save money. A toxic cloud rolls into Bhopal. Thousands die in hours. Hundreds of thousands suffer injuries. The long-term legacy includes cancers, birth defects, and a global reckoning with industrial safety and corporate responsibility. December 2nd, the day the price of negligence became incalculable. Segment 11, Thriller. When a music video became a cultural supernova. December 2nd, 1983. Thriller premieres on MTV, and the whole world collectively says, "This is a music video?" Directed by John Landis, Michael Jackson wearing an iconic red jacket, zombie choreography, a 14-minute plot. This wasn't a video, it was an event. It broke racial barriers at MTV, transformed the music industry, and sold albums like the world was preparing for a thriller-based currency. December 2nd, the day MTV leveled up. Segment 12, Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, a European architect, leaves the stage. December 2nd, 2020. Former French President Valéry Giscard d'Estaing dies at 94. A modernizer, a technocrat, an architect of Europe. And fittingly, his death lands on the anniversary of Austerlitz, the French military victory that haunts every French statesman's subconscious. Giscard helped shape the euro. Napoleon reshaped Europe with cannons. Poetic symmetry, different tools. December 2nd, legacies echo. In conclusion, December 2nd is less a date and more a cosmic inbox, overflowing with history's weirdest and most consequential notifications. Empire crowned, empire crushed, hemisphere declared off limits, war foretold, atoms split, hearts replaced, corporations implode, space shuttles survive, videos redefine culture, leaders exit the stage. It is a day where ambition meets consequence, sometimes triumphantly, sometimes catastrophically, and always with a reminder that humanity's reach will forever exceed and redefine its grasp.